Hi guys, welcome to Pixienatory. I am Pixie and this is Robyn, the original character of my customer which was commissioned to me before the war in my country. But you know, war isn't an excuse to stop working, so today I'm gonna show you how I made Robyn's custom doll. And straight to a doll we go! For a base I took DC Supergirl's doll, specifically Supergirl's body because she has the most matching skin tone. Idea was to create a feminine elf male character, and from the very beginning I knew this doll would fit perfectly fine. DC dolls have quite wide shoulders, they are taller than the regular female dolls, and they have strong silhouettes and defined muscular figures. To make the body even more masculine, I modified it by sanding off and sculpting some areas of the body to make it look more like it belongs to a male character. After that, I made my least favorite part – hair. I call stages like this one preparation for an actual doll creation. I don't know how about other artists, but I don't really like working with hair because I do not have much control over it and the whole process is messy and slow. Another my not the most favorite part of making dolls is making patterns for new body types. You know, I have this fatty bag with patterns for every situation in my life, but when someone makes a commission from me, it is almost guaranteed new patterns are coming on the way. The trickiest part is to make a clear idea of what result I need to get eventually, so I always think out my idea long before I even start to make a doll. Like figuring out how each detail of the doll will look altogether and how I need to construct the whole look. Then I make a sketch, maybe check what fabrics I will use, and only then I'm making patterns. The process of making patterns is always the same, and it is quite common amongst doll artists. You just wrap the doll body in film, then in paper tape, and draw the patterns over it. After that, just cut everything out and transfer it to the paper with some adjustings and allowances. I'm using this method almost all the time I'm making doll clothes, and I can say it is the best one for any doll artist, beginner or advanced. This method allows creating of really beautiful outfits and it is very affordable. It is also better to make all patterns before you had painted your body modifications. But as you can see, I miscalculated this step and I had to work really carefully to not damage all painting work on the body. Like fundament is crucial part of every building, pattern making is the same fundament for every doll outfit. I know many artists have difficulties with this step and I get why. It is not the most fun part of doll making, but a big chunk of the final result straightly depends on it. Also, it really helps to avoid spoiling expensive or rare materials by using more cheap on the first step and checking out all measurements. When all patterns are done, first adjustments are made. Now I will use some consumables like plain white cotton and stretchy fabrics to model future forms. I usually do very simple stitches, cut them quite roughly and never prepare the edges of these samples. The main idea is to create very simple outfit and see where you need to fix it before putting all your effort into it. In this clip I specifically didn't speed up so you just can see how actually hand stitching is slow motion. I remember a few comments from people who were telling me I showed them not everything and that I am cheating on them behind the camera and I'm using a sewing machine. No guys, I am not. It is just too boring for you to wait when I will make every stitch. So please just watch closely. I think I'm already giving enough information for you to learn if you do really want to. Or you can buy my patterns from my Etsy shop, there are step-by-step instructions for you to use. When it comes to material choices, I'm really picky. I literally have storage of fabric that barely fit into my organizer boxes. I have fabrics for dolls more than clothing for myself. If you want a video about what fabric for dolls are good and what the actual types of fabric exists out there, please let me know in the comments. I have some experience with fabrics and maybe you would be interested to listen. When I'm making footage of this bunch of materials, I usually put slightly more than I will eventually use, because sometimes it just happens that I change minor details in my idea and some materials just go away by themselves. For me it is important for the textures and colors of future outfits to be in harmony. Also, when I pick a specific fabric, I always think about how it will be used by a customer. Will it wear off too quickly? Isn't it too fragile or bulky? Is it a warm tone or cool tone fabric? And so on. All these small details affect the final impression of the doll. So, I am starting making pants. I don't know, but usually for me it is the most simple part, and that's where the fun part for me starts. It is all about stitching and putting pieces together like a Lego. I loved to play with cubes and constructors in my childhood, so now it is something relatively the same. After sewing up the front seam, I'm sewing up the darts. Darts allow to save curve if the fabric isn't too stretchy like the synthetic suede. I like the shabby texture of this fabric, it creates the look of natural skin. With hair iron, I'm pressing all seams to make them flat. In advance, all edges was pre-processed with glue to make them sticky when heated with an iron. Now they are flat and neat. Trim sticking parts a bit. Hem the waistline and press with iron. The glue will prevent edges from fringing and stitches from dissolving. Sewing up back seam. And then sew up the leg seam. And the base of the pants is ready. Attaching Velcro clip to the cut on the back and we are good to go to the decoration with a little embroidery. Making a few crosses with the floss thread and we are getting not a simple suede pants but simple medieval suede pants. And take a moment to appreciate someone who wants to tell hi to y'all.
Привет! Ой, тихо, Люси. О, класс.
Content?
Да-да, контент.
Nice.
Our next item is a short, and I picked cotton with a geometry pattern on it. This short has a bit of unusual shape, but for elf it is just what is needed. Hemming all edges of the details with iron and some stitching. Sewing up the front piece and back piece of the short together. Press with an iron. And now attaching the sleeves into the armholes. Press seams with iron. Okay, now it looks like a short a little bit more. Now hemming the neckline and cuffs. Add extra ribbons to the short. Firstly, this character is supposed to be in greenish colors, but since it is a prince, I thought it would be fun to make him in the red palette. Sew in Velcro into the short. Then sew up the side seams to finish it. One it is, one to go. I felt that this guy just needs some freedom in this short, so I made a pair of cuts on the sleeves. And just like that. I wanted to make him an archer, so I planned details based on this idea. He has to be immobile, I thought then. Adding small golden accents. For his chest I'm making a burgundy vest. By the plan it's supposed to be protection for him, but also accentuates the flat chest I made for him. Combine the face layer with lining and sew it up together. Leave a small opening for turning it out. Skipping the turning part, it is hideous, and going straightly to ironing. Sewing up the sides of the vest. For the back I prepared tricky but beautiful closure with crossed ribbons and Velcro clips. I thought it would create a bit elvish look. Add golden ribbon for more accents. Now adding small decoration to the vest and we're done with it. Cape time it is, starting with the collar. Iron non-woven fabric to a collar to make it sturdier and sew up two pieces together. Turn it out and iron to flatten. For a cape I picked wineish red flowing fabric for the face and golden texturized atlas for the lining. Sew them together and iron. The upper edge of the cape I'm gathering into folds and sewing the collar to it. With a few stitches I fixed the collar in the desired shape. A piece of golden PU stripe will hold the cape on its place. Sew on the golden snap. Well, now Robyn will run through the forest in his nicely fit cape. To the belt I'm also attaching a holder for the quiver, which is 3D printed item I ordered in advance. Adding more decorations. Time to make a pair of high-tie boots. Those are just supposed to be super comfy and protective, so I picked the dark brown PU fabric for them. Since it is soft enough, it is stretchy, it is waterproof, and if it would be a real pair of boots, I'd really love to wear them on my journeys. So there you can see how I'm processing PU fabric with an iron and gathering boots into the one piece. There are a lot of moves going on, and I already have at least 3 videos dedicated to creating boots like this one. Those are my Pirates, Jinx and Megumin doll videos, so please check those out after watching this one if you want to learn more about shoemaking. By now let's just meditate a bit and watch boots magic happening. Okay, one is done, one still to go, but we're jumping to the belts. Out of 2 brown PU stripes, I'm making an intricate waist item. Sewing both pieces together. Trim excess and add connector detail. Sewing up the golden snap. Here we go. Actually, this belt Robyn would use as a sword holder, so it is still not done yet. Make one loop on the one end of the belt for a sword to sit. It can be easily removed and put on back and never get lost. I decided to add another golden element to the look, and it is beaded chain for the belt. Just for majestic touch to this headstrong elvish prince. And a little purse also for this belt. Because when you're spending a night in the forest, you have to put all your small things somewhere. Don't ask me why Robyn put synthetic winterizer in this purse. Let's pretend it is temporary necessity. Well, now it is fully packed and ready for a journey. Robyn is a quite passionate bowman, but also a member of a royal family, so with that in mind, I thought it would be a problem for him to have a scratched hand because of using bow so often. It is quite not a prince-like thing to have scratched hand. So I made a glove on his left hand so no one from his family would notice his hobby. On the wrist of the right hand I put a small bracer because you still have to have a nice grip when you're holding a bow. So since it is accessory turn, I also decided to make a simple garter belt for his tie. This one is for the looks only. Originally 3D prints I received are grey colored, and it is great natural shade for starting the painting job on the model. And I'm starting with the sword specifically. I'm using Vallejo model paints, and in my recent dolls I'm using them a lot. They got stunning coverage. They are durable and I love using them with a few drops of diluting liquid for airbrushes. The other day I will tell you about materials I'm using a bit closer, so stay tuned. Done with the sword. Let's make some arrows. Those are just simple bamboo toothpicks I trimmed and painted in brown. Arrow's plumage I made out of pieces of PU fabric, which I also painted. Firstly, I wanted to make them out of natural feathers, but it just wasn't a look. So I picked a less elegant option and just made arrows more graphic. I made 7 arrows and just stick them into the quiver. And so is the quiver. I painted it a few times and every time I changed something because I just couldn't find the right shade. But eventually it turned out good. Quiver cavity I'm filling with glue and put there all arrows that I made. I put them that way so flat parts are not too visible if you turn them. The bow is the main cherry on top of all Robyn's 3D printed items, and I loved painting it so much. Overall, I can say when I first got this commission I knew there must be a bow somewhere. My customer already saw pictures of Robyn and I am happy to the moon she said it is the Robyn for real. So painting of the bow just went like butter on the bread and I finished making it in no time. The string I made with help of my fiancé because another pair of hands just please give me a one. And with brown colored cord. To make this head fully elf, I made a pair of pointy ears out of fresh polymer clay, which I boiled in hot water till harden. So, speaking of Robyn, my customer reached out to me with just few pictures of her idea and a small text description of her character. I usually don't need too much, and I'm glad that we resonated and created this guy just like he was meant to be. When it comes to making ideas for my customers, it is usually yes or no from the first sight. I think like any other artist I have favorite themes and less favorite, and that's totally okay. The fantasy genre is just one of those themes which I like unconsciously. Also, I was extremely interested in actually making a male character out of female-based doll because I never had an opportunity to create one. It was one of the main points in this character's to-do list. And it wasn't just about body, you know. His face also was a total brainstorm of how-to's variations for me. Firstly, I wanted to attach a Monster High Cleo Denial head on this body, but even with neck modification head just didn't fit well, so I went back to an original Supergirl head. And I can't understand why Cleo even came to my mind at the first place. Supergirl's face just so awesome for androgynous dolls. It has fewer features, it reminded me more of Ever After High doll molds, and doll artists who painted Ever After faces will understand me right now. Those faces have flatter structure, which makes them universal. You can perform almost anything on flat molds like that. It is harder a bit, but if you are skilled enough, those are just pleasure to work with. I knew from the very beginning I will try to incline his features to the male side more, because his face is already enough feminine and I need to add more masculinity to it. Professional makeup artists know many tips and tricks on how to do that, but as former cosplayer I also know some of them and those are actually not that hard to learn. For example, if you look at the male face, there are actually sharper features, deeper shades because of it, more pronounced temples and cheekbones, wider chin and jawbone, more defined and bolder brows. Overall, the idea is to avoid softness and try to create more angular features. Biologically, due to the effect of some hormones like testosterone, male body is prone to have less fat tissue in their bodies, and in the face as well. It creates a more dry look if you wish, more defined face muscles. So I tried to use blushing to dry his face a little bit and create the illusion of dips that originally Supergirl didn't have. I know there are artists who can modify head sculpts of vinyl dolls to change the original face shapes, but I just thought I don't want to do it this time. I can't say it was the easiest doll for me in the matter of technical part of the customizing, but surprisingly enough, whole process went great from the start to finish. I learned a few new tricks to my doll artist's arsenal. So, summarizing this commission, I'm overly pleased with the character I made for my customer, and I hope Robyn will find his royal place in his owner's room. Doll customizing is always all about experimenting and sharpening the skills you have. I bet like any other art area, everything takes its time. And it is important to leave your comfort zone as frequently as possible, so you can progress further. You never know when a specific skill you got in the past will come in handy in your current art project. I'm always surprised when knowledge I got and considered useless actually helps me in my present. In my opinion, an artist has to be curious and adventurous. It just helps so much when it comes to creation, no matter what you want to create. Creation is subdued by the stubborn, not the most talented one. So I wish you, my friends, to be stubborn in your art. To my customer, big gratitude that you kept this commission on go, because it is hard times for everyone here in Ukraine. And it already means so much that you haven't cancelled your order. Long story short, most of my commissions were cancelled, and I totally got that. The war is here. Not everyone is ready to take a risk. But you guys, please do not be afraid to place orders from artists from Ukraine. Just ask them if they are in the safe region like I am currently. Here we can continue making your commissions like before. This will help every one of us to make a living, and your order will be great support to an artist in Ukraine. And here is the end of the video comes. I'm grateful that you guys stayed here with me today and watched Robyn the Elf Prince creation process video. Please leave a like, share this video, leave a comment as your thank you to me. I'd really appreciate it. In a few moments you will see the final result of the doll, so stay tuned. And for me it is time to say, have a wonderful day! See you in my next videos, guys! Bye!
Лягушки, слышишь, да, разорались.
I love to play with... I love to play with... I loved to play... I like to play... Блять. DC dolls have quite wide shoulders. They are taller than the regular female dolls, and they have strong silhouettes and defined muscular body. Muscular? Все. Да, вот прям так. Вообще. Симбака! If you want a video about what fabric for dolls are good and what the actual types of fabric exists out there, please let me know in the comments. Тося, теперь ты.